Hi, welcome back to www.scottnelsonandson.com. As part of my how-to series, I thought today's video might be interesting to show you the process in which I come up with children's book artwork. Not so much the finished artwork in full color, but the sketch process in which I prepare a book ready to be published. So if you're interested, follow along and I'll show you what I do. Now, it wouldn't be fair for me to sit here and say, to do a good children's book, it has to be this way or that way. In reality, it's going to be what works best for you. This video is just going to show you what works for me and the process in which I create artwork that I can present to a publisher. So when I'm coming up with an idea, what I usually do is write the story, and then I will then start to do the illustrations for it. But there is artists who will do some artwork, and they will then write the story around it. Again, that's what works best for you. So once I have my manuscript ready to go, I will take a regular drawing tablet, something very basic, regular paper will do. I work with a pen sometimes, a ballpoint pen, pencils, really no matter what. And I just start pushing the pencil. I tell my students all the time, do not start doing finished artwork right away. I want to see the characters develop with multiple angles and lots of expressions in their faces, and know how to draw them backwards and forward before you even begin to do finished artwork. But in this case, this sketchbook here is loaded with different illustrations of the manuscript ideas that are done very sloppily, mind you, but it's going to at least be able to show me when I take it to the next step in pencil and a lot more detail where the characters are going to have to go. Case in point right here, this character, and the characters are rumbling down the street in a car. I can clearly see from this basic sketch here that the mom and dad characters are in the front seat, and the children character is in the back, and there is a street scene going on, and possibly the car itself is going to be rumbling. So when I take that to the next step, my hope is that I'll be able to elaborate on just this. Again, it's not finished artwork, but I want to be able to make the publisher interested. So I think I will show you the next step. Okay, so now my next step here would be to take a sketch that I did in just ballpoint pen and to make it a little bit better so I could present it to a publisher and feel confident that it would be given a good look. So what I've done with the other sketches is, right here, is I've taken charcoal and pencil and graphite here, and I simply made a value drawing of a previous sketch. A value sketch would be, instead of having colors, what I could see here, even though it's all in gray, you could see that if this was red against the blue or the blue against the purple, that the colors would work well together and things wouldn't be lost. As I set up my paper here to do the next sketch, you'll notice here right in the middle there is two lines that I've drawn as I just tape some paper together. And again, this is just basic paper, nothing fancy about it. But the reason I've done that before is because when books are published, what they call in the middle here is called a gutter. A gutter is the place where, when pages come together, they form a channel right in there in the middle. So you wouldn't want to have anything lost in that particular area. Here's a better sample of it. It's a full page spread. And if, let's say, the main character was on home base there, he certainly would be lost. But because this particular illustration here, there was nothing that important in the middle, it worked out fine. The characters are talking down here in the lower corner. But you always want to keep that in mind when you're doing illustrations for children's books, to not have things lost on the page that are important to the subject matter. So my next step would be to draw in full pencil. Okay, the next step in the creation of a children's book for me is to lay out all the different drawings and start to see if the characters are working well together. Are the scenes flowing well? Can things be changed? Because now is the time to do it. Now, mind you, I haven't added the text in this story yet, but I can see that there's certain things I might like to change, and certainly a publisher would always want to make some alterations and changes as well. But this is the time now, and you really start to see that it can come together. So, the next step for me will be to make up a complete manuscript book dummy, which will be a mock-up book of what the final piece might look like. Now, I mentioned the word manuscript book dummy, and what I have here in front of me is a sample of something I've done before. It's a color copy cover. The first two pages that I've done here is illustrations in full color inside, which would be indicative of the style that I was thinking about doing. But then as you get further into the book itself, you'll see that it's just line drawing sketches, nothing overly complicated. But the text is in there, so somebody reading it would be able to follow along the storyline and see what my intention of the book is. So again, this would be something I would send out to a publisher. Well, I hope what I've shown you today was informative, but just because this is how I do it doesn't mean that that's exactly how it has to be done. The important thing to remember is that what you're going to show to a publisher is a good representation of a story and illustrations of something you're proud of, because things can always be changed down the road. You just want to get their attention, and hopefully they're interested in your story. So thanks again for stopping by www.scottnelsonandson, and check back often for our more updated videos on what we do here. Have a good day.